Hey everybody, it's Emma. Thank you so much for joining me in this video today. I have what will hopefully be a quick video because I don't have as many products as I thought I did, of products that I've changed my mind about, either for better or worse. Now, some of this stuff has been on my channel before. I think a couple of them I may have mentioned in passing, but I haven't really talked about. So let's start with those ones. The first product I want to talk about is this. This is the Milani Prime Light Face Primer. This packaging, you can tell, is absolutely beautiful. It says strobing and pore minimizing oil-free primer. You get 1 fluid ounce in here. I think I had mentioned in passing on my channel, like I said, that I had been playing around with this, and I was feeling pretty meh about it. It's like, meh, I don't get it. I don't know. And of course, as soon as I said that, I don't know if maybe I just started to pay attention more. Whatever happened, doesn't really matter. Bottom line is I love this product when I want a glowier look. So it is a kind of lotiony texture. You can see it's white, and you can hopefully see there that it's got a little bit of an iridescent sheen to it. Ooh. And a little bit more. So you can see. Now I've heard on different YouTube videos that this is very similar to MAC Strobe Cream. I don't know if that's true. I've never used MAC Strobe Cream. I don't plan on it anytime soon, but once it's blended into the skin, you can see this product, it's really glowy, but in a very natural way. The best way I can describe this, and it might sound a little bit gross, but I mean it as a compliment, is it makes my skin look oily. Like, it makes it look like my skin is just naturally producing the glow, if that makes sense. So it's not glittery, it's not sparkly, it's not chunky at all. I have used this in a few different ways, either as just a primer underneath my foundation. I have just used this on its own if I'm not wearing foundation, just to give my skin a little extra moisture. It feels moisturizing. I don't know. Doesn't really, oh yes, it claims to hydrate and instantly brighten lackluster skin. And I've also mixed this in with other foundations to make kind of a tinted moisturizer primer sort of thing. And I've really fallen in love with this. So if you have, if you like a naturally glowy look, if you have maybe drier skin and need a little extra boost underneath your foundation or just on top of your skin, I recommend trying this out. If you have very oily skin, this is just gonna enhance that, I think. So unless that's a look that you're going for, this may not be the best product for you, especially as it wears through the day. I definitely find that this isn't maybe immediately as glowy as it gets, at least on me throughout the day, because I have kind of combo to oily skin. I will sometimes put this all over my face, but I usually focus it on my cheeks since they tend to be a little bit drier. But I really enjoy this product, and I don't know, I might even buy it again when I'm out of it. Like, I really like it. The other product, I think, again, I had mentioned in passing, that's my phrase of the day apparently, is this Urban Decay Vice Lipstick Palette that I'm not going to hold up too much so you can't see how really gross this room is. I'm going to pretend. Anyway, I got this when it first launched. Urban Decay came out with 2 limited edition lip palettes. They each had 12 of their Vice lipsticks in them. There was one that had kind of some crazier colors, like a dark green. I got the more wearable, normal palette. And honestly, I was really excited about this when I first got it. It's very sleek and cute, nice mirror, has a cover that says lipstick is my vice, and then the 12 lipsticks in there. And this was me getting swept up in the hype. I had seen a lot of videos on YouTube praising this palette. It was great, awesome way to try out a bunch of different lipsticks. Really great quality. The lip brush was fantastic. Everybody was raving about it. And, you know, all of that is true. This is not a change in my mind about because the product itself isn't good. This is really good, and I'm trying to actually use it. I have on my lips right now, I have a mix of Firebird and Bang Bang. I really enjoy all of the lipsticks in this palette. Bottom line, really, past the hype, is this is a ridiculous thing for somebody like me to own. I'm not a makeup artist. I don't need a lip palette like this, and it is not a practical makeup item for me as a normal person. If I want to, this, I'm going to have to either carry this around in my purse, which is obnoxious. I mean, you could, but it's, it's still kind of bulky. It's pretty weighty, so it feels very nice and good quality, but also, this is adding to the already way too heaviness of my purse, my poor shoulders. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not realistically going to travel with this. So if I want to top up my lipstick, I'm going to have to bring a different color. I have similar colors to a lot of these lipsticks, not all of them. Some of them, like Conspiracy, I don't have any shades like that, and I'm surprised at how much I like that shade, actually. But it's a ridiculous thing that I got swept up in hype of. So it is, while I still enjoy this product and I'm going to continue to use it, it is a good reminder to me to really think, is this a practical thing for me to get? And, if it's not and I still want it, okay, let's just be honest about it. But, I don't need this. It's ridiculous. The next product I want to talk about makes me feel a little bit ashamed because I have given this product pretty positive reviews on my channel before. I will link that video in a card and also in the description box, but I am talking about the NYX Total Control Drop Foundation. When I first got this, I have this in the shade Vanilla. When I first got this, again, it was the kind of thing, a lot of people were giving it really positive reviews, and maybe subconsciously I was just kind of seeing the things that I really liked about this and not being as particular as maybe I could be. My biggest problem with this, as I have continued to use it, now the review that I have linked above, I'm not lying in that video. I genuinely liked this a lot when I first got it. I think a lot of that had to do with, again, just the general positivity around the product. It had to do with the fact that this is a really spot-on shade match for me, which I have found is kind of difficult. Not as difficult as some people, but most of the foundations that I have aren't quite right shade-wise, and this one is. So that made me really love this product. But as I have continued to use it and continue to use it, I have found that more often than not, it looks really dry, powdery, and kind of cracked. Even on really oily places like my nose, even if I don't powder it, it still manages to not look smooth and even. There have been times where I have just used this and it's looked great, but I can't make that happen all the time, no matter what tools I use, whether it's my fingers or a sponge or a brush. It's not something that I am reaching for on its own. Now, I have found, and I've talked about this in other videos, that mixing this with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus is really nice because the Photo Focus gives it some more thickness and moisture, so it makes it look much smoother, but this helps the Photo Focus match me better and sink into my skin a little more. So I still use this, but on its own, I have changed my mind. and I don't like it as much as I did. A NYX product that kind of is the opposite for me is this NYX No Filter powder. Now, you would have seen this a million times if you watched pretty much any video where I'm putting makeup on my face. I initially got this, so this was one of those products that I got because I had spent too long in Ulta. I had a gift certificate, so I was picking up a couple things, and then NYX was buy one, get one half off, and I had just been walking around. I was kind of overwhelmed, and I actually picked this up the same time I grabbed this. So once I got this, I'm like, well, I gotta get something else so I can get it for half off, because that's why people have sales like that, so you buy more than you need. And so I just grabbed this on a whim, got my stuff, and then realized this is $12. You know, I paid $6 for it, but still. And I was like, oh, fuck that. Quite frankly, excuse my French, because I had usually used the Wet n Wild Coverall powder. This is in the shade Fair Light. This is $2.99. This is $11.99. So I'm like, well, this is bullshit. You get a little bit more powder in this. The Coverall, you get 0.26 ounces. The No Filter, you get 0.33 ounces. So you do get a little extra product, but for such a price difference, it didn't make any sense. So I kind of wrote this powder off as like, well, if I can just buy the Coverall for $3, why would I spend the $12 on this powder? But the more I use it, the more I really like it. This shade, I have it in the shade Porcelain. This matches me just a little bit better than the Fair Light. Fair and the Coverall powder was kind of perfect for me, but they don't sell that in stores anymore. And this just has a finer texture. Now, they're still pretty close, and I don't know, I might buy this again, but this is it's a genuinely good powder, is really what I want to say. And I was really not saying that at the beginning of my use of it. The last product I want to mention is kind of a similar story. It was a product that I was like, and then after using it consistently, I really, really like it. And that is the Lash Princess Mascara from Essence. Again, this is one of those things you would have seen in a lot of my previous videos. I'm trying to use this up. I've always loved the packaging. It's super cute. I like the rubberized thing at the top here. I really like the brush because it's not too gigantic. I feel like I can kind of get in there a little bit easier without fearing I'm going to poke my eye out. What I didn't love about this mascara at first is that I didn't feel like it did very much. It's a more natural looking mascara, and I do tend to like a little bit more oomph. But I noticed one day that I was always reaching for this mascara. It's a great everyday mascara, and I will definitely repurchase this at some point. It might not be immediately after I finish it because I like to try a lot of different stuff, but this will certainly make its way back in my collection once I'm done with it. It's a great mascara if you want something that it's not so natural. It's not as natural as, say, a Wet n Wild mascara, which I've not really enjoyed any of those. They've gotten better and better, the newer ones that they've come out with, except for the Skinny. I really didn't like that, but that's another story. It's not as natural looking as that. It's a step up from those. So if you like a separated look, if you like just a little extra oomph, then this would be a great and very affordable cruelty-free mascara to check out. Last but not least is the product that kind of got the wheels turning in my head about making this video, and that is the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette. Now, I know there's some controversy with Too Faced at the moment. You know, you can Google that if you're interested. We're gonna set that drama aside for the moment and just talk about the palette. I am wearing it on my eyes today. The tutorial. I hate to use the word tutorial because I'm not a professional. That's why I call all of my things Get Ready With Me's, because I feel like I'm not qualified to say tutorial. I don't know. That's probably silly, but the process for putting this eye look together will either be up soon, or if it's up already, I will link it. Now this palette, when it first came out, my initial draw were these two shades on the bottom. Earl Grey, which is this deep teal, and Totally Fetch, which is the hot pink. And the hot pink I am wearing on my eyes right now. Now, I got this palette actually from Too Faced's website, which I'm both grateful for and not grateful for, because it didn't occur to me that returning it might be an issue if I didn't like it. And when I first got this palette, I really didn't like it. I was very disappointed in these two shades because they are... I was not really familiar with Too Faced formula. And so I was kind of expecting these to be really deep, rich shades. You know, I'm picturing all these awesome smoky eye looks I could do with Earl Grey, and it's not. These shadows are, you know, there's definitely pigment to them, but they're very blendable and soft, so they don't build on each other very well. Now, you may even be able to see that on my eyes right now, and in that video you'll be able to see as I blend, you know, the colors really blend into each other very much. It's challenging. You have to kind of go back and layer on more color if you want more oomph. So when I had first started playing with this palette, I was so disappointed. And I was like, oh my god, why did I buy it from Too Faced? If I got it from Ulta, I could just return it and get something I liked more. But I didn't, so I kept it, and I kept kind of playing around with it. And then as I started to kind of get more familiar with the formula of the shadows, and once I kind of got over my disappointment and not being able to use those particular shades exactly how I had envisioned, I started to really like this palette. You know, it has a really nice range of colors if you like cool shades and if you like pink. Now, this is not everybody's cup of tea. I actually really, as you can see, I don't mind some pink eyeshadow. But there are 1, 2, 3, like, true pinks, and then this shade here, Satin Sheets, which I'm wearing as a highlighter on my face and also in the center of my lid, has some definite pink tones in there as well. They're just beautiful shadows for kind of everyday looks, for blending, for more neutral looks. I mean, you can definitely smoke this up and get a little bit crazy, as you can see on my eyes today. But as I have continued to use this palette, I have continued to enjoy it more and more. Now, if I could go back with the information that I have now and maybe get the first chocolate bar palette just as a good kind of neutral palette to have, I might have done that. But since this is mine and my collection in my clutches, I have certainly learned how to use it and how to appreciate this palette much more than I did initially. So I would cautiously recommend this palette. So just be aware of what you're getting and what your expectations are, and if they will be met with this or not. If you would like a more in-depth review and swatches and all that, let me know. But you know, I figure there are a lot of those videos on YouTube, so I don't know if my input would be necessary, but I'd be happy to do that if you want. So yes, that is my feelings about the Too Faced Chocolate Bonbons palette, and I don't mind the kind of kitschy look to it, the heart-shaped pans. Yeah, it doesn't bother me too much. So, okay, that is it. I hope this was an enjoyable video, interesting perhaps. I like watching these kinds of videos. I always find it fascinating, especially with those, you know, it makes me feel better about my own tendency to get swept up in the hype when other people are like, oh yeah, I did too, it's okay. So, it's okay, folks. If you have any questions, comments, requests, anything like that, if there are products you've changed your mind about, please let me know in the comments below. And I hope you have a wonderful day. I'll see you in the next one.